Romans chapter 13 verses 8 to 10. Love is the fulfillment of the law. Brothers and sisters, owe nothing to anyone, except to love one another. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. The commandments: you shall not commit adultery, you shall not kill, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and whatever other commandment there may be, are summed up in this saying, namely, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no evil to the neighbor. Hence, love is the fulfillment of the law. In verse 8 we read, owe nothing to anyone. Does this mean that we shouldn't have a bank loan on a car or a mortgage? No. Paul's meaning is better explained by Proverbs 22 verse 7, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender. When you pay off your loan, don't you feel relieved? Don't you feel free of a debt? Sure, because you are no longer a slave or under an obligation to the lender. You will now have more money in your checking account, but you are free to spend it as you choose because you are no longer obliged to spend it on a loan payment. On the other hand, you are always obliged to love one another in order to live a Christian life, and to comply with the 10 Commandments. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Many believe that loving yourself is wrong, but if you don't possess love, how can you give it to others? It's impossible to give something to another if you yourself don't possess it. In the time of Jesus, the Jewish understanding of neighbor was a compatriot, or kinfolk. Love of neighbor for Jesus was not limited to the family but was universal in scope. Loving your neighbor is the second greatest commandment, as Jesus pointed out in the Gospel of Mark. Previously in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 4-7, Paul wrote, love is patient, love is kind. Is not jealous, love is not pompous, it is not inflated. It is not rude, it does not seek its own interests, it is not quick-tempered, it does not brood over injury. It does not rejoice over wrongdoing but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. If you do these things, your love is the fulfillment of the law. 1 John 5 3-5. For the love of God is this, that we keep His commandments. And His commandments are not burdensome. For whoever is begotten by God conquers the world, and the victory that conquers the world is our faith. Who, indeed, is the victor over the world but the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God? God is love.